So today, my title is Healthy God-Centered Families, the image of what we are trying to create. If you could sum up the divine principle in 5 words, what would it be? Anybody know? Creating a God-centered family. If you actually look at the divine principle is all about just creating a God-centered family. In chapter 1, it talks about who is God, man and woman, and how when man and woman come together, they, produce a child, and it creates a 4-position foundation, and that's where you can feel God's love and his energy. Chapter 2 is about us basically not being able to bring, is basically the fall of man. So it's basically God wanted to create his children and experience that love, and then from that point, he couldn't experience love. All the other chapters throughout the entire divine principle talks about the resurrection and trying to get back that lineage. So the divine principle is all about, essentially about creating a good family, and that's the image of what we are trying to create. What does a God-centered family mean? Is it loving your spouse? Loving your kids? Bringing God into a relationship with your spouse and your kids? Being happy and filled with joy? Do you think that's what a God-centered family is?
Everything.
Yep, everything. Exactly. The cycle of a relationship. Some people feel love at the beginning of their relationship, and then it starts dying down. It's not because love isn't there. It's because they've stopped working on their relationship. They've become lazy, and some look for something new and exciting, but that's not the right way. Working hard. You need to work hard on your relationship. Nothing good comes easy. Hard work always pays off. Life of faith. The same is true for your life of faith. You must practice and remember why you believe in what you believe in. Pollution of spirit. Many things happen in life that leave a negative effect. Sometimes people or the world will pollute your spirit. It's important to protect yourself. How to protect yourself. There are many different methods to protect oneself. What do you think? Oh, is it? So there are many methods to protect oneself. What about conditions? Do you think why are conditions set up to protect oneself? Anybody? Mm-hmm. 100K. What about 100K? Why do you think 100K is so important?
We get the direct word straight from God. Sorry for not raising my hand. You get the direct word from our experience in God.
Yeah, it's also exactly, and it's also to remind you, it's to remind you on a daily basis, what you believe, because sometimes the world will actually pollute your spirit, and sometimes you'll forget. Because you get stressed out in everyday life, and you get so intense into your work schedule, and you're not constantly thinking about what you want to create and have a clear mind. And then also conditions, it also unites the mind and the body. So when you're doing conditions, it's constantly uniting your mind and body, which really does help protect you. Prayer. Prayer is reporting to God, right? It's like you're sitting down and you're reporting to God, you're telling God about your day, you're clearing your heart, your spirit, and just offering it all up. And there's other ways like vows, yoga, meditation, working out. You can do so many different conditions or so many different ways to protect your spirit. Self-love. If people people aren't taking care of themselves, they tend to start lacking self-love and self-care after a while. Self-love and self-care is one of the most important things that everyone needs to experience on a daily basis. Example being a new mom. Many of the women here, I'm sure, have had this experience where you've had your child and you've had your baby and you're exhausted, sleep deprived. Sometimes it's hard to eat, like you have to force yourself to eat, to get up to actually make food, or, so you're like sleep deprived, you have no, so I actually had this experience when I was with Kailani where I was just so tired. I was constantly like doing stuff for my family and I was not sleeping, eating, I was exhausted, taking a shower was a big deal, getting yourself ready was a big deal. So my friend actually said, Simone, you need to first take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, then you can't take care of your family. So if you're taking care of your being on a spiritual level and physical level, then you have more to give. You have more love to give. You have more energy to give. You have more spirit to give to other people around you. Checking in with yourself. You need to take time to check in with yourself, to make sure you're okay, to have your own self-therapy. Some people may see this as a prayer. I actually had this experience when I was in Korea. I was on the 120-day workshop, and we were waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. We were doing 420 bows every morning. And so after a while, it became this rhythm of just bowing, bowing, bowing. So then after doing 420 bows, you're like exhausted. So like I remember sitting down and closing my eyes, and then I remember like almost having this like, I don't know what you want to call it, but like an image in my head. And at the time I was struggling with something, and I was just really internally heartbroken. And I remember just being so sad and so broken inside. And I saw this image of myself like rolled up in my arms are around my knees, and I'm like almost like bobbing back and forth, upset and crying in this image in my head. And I saw this like little baby crawling up to me, and it like started wiping away my tears, and it smiled at me and put its arm around me, and I realized it was me. And I realized that this younger version of myself was comforting myself. And we can do that. Like, it gave me the image of, this is self-love, self-care. It's like, it's okay to tell yourself it's okay. It's okay to take care of your heart. It's okay to, because honestly, that's your foundation with God. That's your core spirit of your unity with God, right? So it's important to love yourself, and it's important to have this kind of relationship that you can protect yourself and tell yourself it's okay. Checking in, self-care. Many people do this in many different ways. Some people do it through prayer, reading, writing, painting, sports, climbing, even something simple like getting your nails done. So I want you to think about, real quick, about your own self-therapy. And if you don't have one, if you can create something that relaxes you, maybe it's sitting by the beach and just watching the waves. If you guys can just take one quick minute and just maybe think of something and then share it with your neighbor next to you. How does all this relate to the divine principle? Formation, growth, and perfection while balancing love and truth. Balancing love and truth. Balancing love and truth is part of the divine principle. How does this relate when you're going through the 3 stages of growth? Formation, growth, and perfection. You also have to have the balance of love and truth while going through these 3 stages. Love and truth means the heart and the mind, right? So you have to have a good balance of your mind and your heart. Because if you're too much of an intellect and you're not living with your heart, then it's off balance. You'll make decisions strictly from your mind. If it's your heart and you're too artistic and you're just constantly going with your heart and you're not thinking logically, then it's completely off balance. So when you're going through these 3 stages, you have to have that balance of love and truth. I also want to point out that when you're going through these 3 stages of formation, growth, and perfection, you need to have, there is 3 stages in those 3 stages, right? So when you're going through formation, there's formation, growth, and perfection within formation. When you're going through growth, there's formation, growth, and perfection in growth. And perfection, there's 3 stages, formation, growth, and perfection. And then from there, completion, it's formation, growth, perfection, and it's more growth. Like it's endless growth, right? So let's go over formation. In this stage, you learn about self-love and self-care. Babies normally think of themselves, their development, So in this stage, you learn about love, self-love and self-care. Babies normally think of themselves and their development. Everything is self-centered. This stage is very important to learn about love and the love felt in this stage. Survival skills that can be carried with the individual for the rest of their lives. Growth. As I said, there is 3 stages in growth. It's more of a mutual love. This is the stage of mutual love. If you love, I'll love you as long as you love me. If you stop loving me, then the relationship is lost. This is why there is 50% divorce rate in America today. This is a stage where individuals need to work on their relationship to overcome problems. In the spiritual growth. In the individual, we are working on ourselves before we connect to others to marry, perfecting our hearts of love for God and others. Oh, I'm sorry, I just realized. It is the adolescent stage. Mistakes happen a lot in this stage. That is where Adam and Eve fell. When you are young, you want to know about the world. Young people want to live free to learn for themselves, and many young people don't want to listen to adults and that have lived through these exact situations. Young people want to experience things for themselves, but if their emotions aren't ready, or if they put themselves in a dangerous situation, then mistakes can happen. Youth need to be careful with their lives, understanding it is difficult to undo mistakes and evaluate their actions, understanding that their job is to grow spiritually, to work on their perfection. Like I said, there is 3 stages in the growth stage, and you must grow through each stage. Perfection. Once you grow yourself into a strong, mature adult, now you have to entangle yourself with another hopefully strong, mature adult, which can be really complicated. Many couples have to raise up their spouse and help each other. This is called married life. Couples need to work together as a team to see each other as a life partner. They should see themselves as a forever family member that should never be replaced. Today we receive the wedding blessing before we are technically perfect, only making a condition for perfection by our dedication, action to the Spirit truth. So it is still necessary to work on individual perfection and help each other grow. Completion. We have now created a good family and a good legacy with God. In this stage, there is endless growth. We can never stop growing. Perfection is the perfection of our hearts to love others as a heavenly parent loves them. There would not be wars if everyone loved their brothers and sisters as heavenly parents loves them. We would find solutions to survive without destroying the planet and healthy of populations of the earth. We would live every day with our heavenly parent as a child does with his or her parent. That is the heart of the parent, and is love the heavenly parent has for his children. In Genesis, heavenly parent says, I am walking a path with my feet bruised and bleeding, seeking after men. Heavenly parent will work and love us unconditionally until his family can be restored to him. It is our job to help our heavenly parent restore this world with all our effort and love. Application. Why am I bringing this up to you? Because you need to work on your spiritual life. You have to have balance of love and truth in your relationship with your spirit, mind, and your body. Do you guys think you can do this every stage of your life? Yeah? All right, let's get to work. All right, thank you guys. I'm going to invite Roger back up.